Okay, so here we're going to be covering cake mail and cake mail triggers. So I'm going to run through all of the triggers we have here within cake mail, and then a really simple kind of dummy example of where this could be applicable and a potential use case. So the current triggers that cake mail supports are a new campaign, pretty self-explanatory, a new email open, again, self-explanatory, a new link click, pretty self-explanatory. This is really useful if you're sending, let's just like a really generic example, you provide multiple services. You send an outbound email campaign with multiple links to the different services that you offer. And then when someone clicks on one of those links, you can then trigger on that. And so that maybe you could then retarget them again within cake mail, but this time on a service-specific email campaign, because we now know that they're interested in that certain service because they clicked the link. So that's a pretty generic example of where that would be applicable. Again, really handy trigger. When a new list is created, when you have a new or updated contract, when you have a new unsubscribe, and a new bounce. Now, a bounce is pretty self-explanatory. That's when I send an email and it bounces back, i.e. there's no recipient. A standard use case or example of that would be, let's just say you have a prospecting list and you're B2B, and you send that out, and then in a few months' time, you send that out again, but some of those emails bounce back. That would usually be indicative that a few of the people are no longer at the company that you're sending those emails to, because a general example would be when I work at a company, if I leave, they obviously wind down my email, and if you try to email them again, obviously it's going to come back and say, hey, this email no longer exists. So that'd be a standard example of when an email bounces, and you can trigger on that as well. This test Zap that I've built is really simple. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to say whenever I get a new unsubscribe, I want to add them to a Google Sheet, a database. I want to keep track of them. And then what I want to do is create a contact in Get Prospect. Now, if you're not familiar with Get Prospect, Lusher, these other prospecting tools, Get Prospect is essentially where you can create a contact, and Get Prospect will kind of, and I'm not too sure how it works, but it'll kind of come back and say, hey, here's some other potential email addresses for this recipient or contact. So that is a really simple integration. So here you can see I want to create a new spreadsheet row. I select my Google Sheets account. I select my spreadsheet, my worksheet, a Drive's not really applicable. And then I enter the email because I'm building out a database of all the emails. I've tested it and I know it works. And then here, and I haven't got a Get Prospect account to show you guys, but here I'm creating a contact in Get Prospect, and this would essentially be a simple automation for how we could potentially find new emails for people who unsubscribe. So, and get more information essentially, because maybe with Get Prospect, you can get their LinkedIn details, or Lusher, or these other tools, you can get their LinkedIn details. So if they unsubscribe, maybe you can target them on another medium, right? So that's a simple example. And I think that is everything for this video. I'm also going to be creating a video on actions as well. So looking at the actions that cake mail supports and doing a test scenario on there as well. And I'll also have a quick video on how to add a private integration. So if the cake mail integration is still private at the time of you watching this video, then that will also be available, so you can get the public URL and get accepted and be able to actually start using their integration. Thank you very much.